You are live. Let's just wait for people to come in. Good afternoon, guys. I'm just waiting for people to join in the live. I'm still in uniform at this time. Good afternoon, guys. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, say yes. Don't know where you're going to say yes. Let me just put this a bit up. Yes. Yeah, good afternoon. HMRC. What is HMRC doing here? Mantini, Precious, Tiffany, Warren, Tembi, Benilda, Brian, Jacqueline, Sandra, Tino Mutenda. Good afternoon, guys. How are you doing? Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me on this live, guys. Today, I'm going to be talking about the latest update on the health and care worker visa. As we all know, for this health and care worker visa to come about is because here in the United Kingdom, a lot of people are not willing to actually undertake jobs as carers, and there's a critical shortage of care workers here in the UK because a lot of people are not considering this care worker job as a career. So what the UK is now planning to do is, or rather, they've actually implemented it as from the 10th of January 2023. No, 2024. 10th of January 2024. That is last week. They made an announcement. This is both good and bad. They made an announcement that they want to make the health and care worker visa or the carers jobs an attractive career, meaning they now want to change it into a career where people can actually enroll. They've actually set aside, I do have something that I'll read for you. Okay. They state that social care staff will have better training, clearer career paths, and improved job prospects thanks to government plans to develop the domestic care workforce set out today, 10 January 2024. The Department of Health and Care and Social Care has unveiled a package of measures that will reaffirm care work as a career, helping to recruit and retain talent by providing new accredited qualifications, digital training, and funded apprenticeship. This is backed up by 75 million in funding. The announcement comes in the week the government also started the second phase of Med with Care recruitment campaign aimed at getting more people in the UK to consider a rewarding career in care. So guys, here in the UK, there is a program which is currently undergoing, and it is known as the Med with Care recruitment campaign, because they are trying to hire a lot of care workers from within the UK. So that's why they are undertaking this campaign. And in addition to the campaign, they now want to make the career attractive, meaning they're going to train more people so that one, they'll train people, two, they'll pay the carers more money, because if it's now a career, it simply means that it's now a career. It's like nursing, it's like, you know, any other career, and they're going to pay them more money to actually undertake. So it's both good and bad news, because the whole thing, they Met with Care recruitment campaign, the whole purpose of this campaign is to ensure that UK does not depend on people who are coming from overseas. You understand? So if UK is not depending on people who are coming from overseas, it means they now want to depend on people who are within the UK. So this is the downside of it. Yes, it is good that they now want to make care work a career, meaning you can actually go for training. There's a certain course which they want people to undertake. You can actually go for that training and have care work as a career. But for those who are overseas, it simply means that the competition is going to be very stiff, because the only reason people are not taking these care jobs as a job is because it is not a career. So I don't know what you think of this, guys. Hello, guys. If you've got a question before I move on, just drop the question before I move on to the next thing. Any questions before I move on? Are you understanding what I'm trying to put across? Even if they try harder, no one works harder than Africans. Well, that is affect not particularly Africans, but what I've noted is that people who come from overseas are very good workers. If you go to most care homes here within the UK, they're being run by people from Africa, they're being run by people from India, they're being run by people from the Philippines, and most of the people who come from outside UK are really hard workers. They really work a lot. So does it mean they won't hire from overseas now? It doesn't mean that they won't hire from overseas, but the more they get people from within the UK, the less they hire from overseas. Meaning your chances of being hired from overseas are going to be greatly reduced. That's what it basically means. It reduces your chances of being hired from overseas. But the good thing is this program is only going to start from spring, and it's going to be ongoing up to January 2025, which means if you are overseas and you want to come to UK, you don't have to be wasting any time. The time is now. You have to start now. Like, I know a lot of people have been preparing, but you have to work in, day out for you to be able to relocate to overseas in 2024. Because the more people they train within the UK, the more they reduce the number of people they want to take from overseas. And guys, another thing, just side note, I've received a number of CVs for reviewing. Like, I'm currently reviewing, I'm constructing CVs for you guys, people applying for care jobs here within the UK. Guys, the CVs that you are sending to your employers are not good at all. They will not land you a job at all. So what I am going to do to make life easier for you, because it's not everyone who's going to want a CV constructed, I'm going to do another video where I am going to be telling you step by step and showing you what you need to appear in your CV, and then you can apply for jobs using proper CVs which are accredited here in UK or which are acceptable here in UK. Because most of the CVs that I've seen, all of them are like, if I was an employer, I'll just take this and bin it, or just take this and bin it. So you really have to be mindful when you are drafting your CVs. You need to be able to sell yourself. So I will do a video again. I've done a video before, but this is 2024. As we all know, when you talk of healthcare, it is dynamic. Things are ever changing. So I'll do a video and come and share it with you so that you go and draft your own CV. Then if you feel you're not able to draft your own CV, you can utilize my services. I can draft a CV for you, construct a CV for you, and you can use that CV. But for now, it's best that I just share another video with you, at least to give you guidance so that you know what is expected and what is not expected, because a lot of our CVs, they're not up to standard. So before I move on, someone says, I still miss the point on overseas dependents or for carer already in the UK. Are they still able to apply visas after March, April? If you are within the UK, and let's say maybe you came to UK in February, 25 February, before the start of spring, and you want to apply for your dependents who are overseas, the new law does not affect you. You are still able to apply for your dependents, even if the new law is implemented, as long as you enter the UK before the law changes, because it's not yet written in black and white, and it's probably going to be written in black and white from the start of spring. So if you come, let's say you get a job and you come end of February before spring, you are still going to be able to bring your dependents from overseas. And if you're already here in the UK and you came through the health and care worker visa, stop panicking, because I know a lot of people are panicking, they're borrowing money and so forth so that they bring their dependents. There's no need to panic, because you're still going to be able to bring your dependents from overseas. The new law is not going to affect you, because when you entered the UK, that law was not yet implemented. I hope that is clear. All right. So can carers already in the UK allowed to the campaign training? Okay, if you are already in the UK and you want to be part of this training, or you want to undertake the courses which are being offered to 37,000 people, as long as you have the right to work within the UK, because obviously if you don't have the right to work in the UK, you cannot undertake any courses. But the health and care worker visa does not restrict you from taking any other courses. It only restricts you from taking any other job which is outside care. So should you wish to also advance yourself, and of which this is what I would recommend, you'd rather advance yourself so that you get a better paying job, because obviously if you are now advanced, there will be salary scales which are going to be different. There will be a salary scale different from a general care worker who has not advanced themselves, and one who has attained a certificate, because there's let me see the name of the certificate, just hold on. Let me see, because they mentioned, okay, so they say over 50 million of funding for a new qualification. This will support up to 37,000 individuals in direct adult social care roles to enroll on the new level 2 adult social care certificate qualification between June 2024 and March 2025. So which means if you've got level 2 adult social care qualification, you are at an added advantage, because if you look at people who are here in UK, we've got the chaps who are, what is the definition of a chap? Who knows what the definition of a chap is? Because I know these healthcare practitioners, chap UK, just hold on. These are healthcare practitioners who actually assist nurses. And if you look at care homes, we do have care homes here in UK, and we also have care homes, what you call this, care homes here in Northern Ireland, who actually utilize chaps. So if you have your level 2 certificate, you can obviously become a better person than a care assistant. I'm not saying care assistants are not better, but I'm saying career-wise, you progress a step further, because if you look at a chap, the difference between a chap and a care assistant is that if they are working in a care home, for example, the chaps are able to write care plans, they're able to admit residents, they're able to administer medication. They basically assist the nurse with all the duties. They can do all the duties of a nurse, but to a certain extent. And obviously, the pay of a chap and the pay of a healthcare assistant is totally different here in Northern Ireland. Like, you discover that chaps have got a difference of maybe £2 or £3 from a salary hourly pay rate, which is a substantial amount of money. For example, a chap can get up to £16 an hour, whilst a nurse gets £19 an hour. So which means if you are here in the UK, you are better off advancing yourself so that you get paid more. All right, Selina Chunga Popo. So if they upgrade this as career now, when will they close the route we are using at the moment? They have not mentioned when they're going to close this health and care worker visa route. And the thing is, with the UK, if they mention something, they'll not wake up today and say, today we are stopping the health and care worker visa, period. They'll give a grace period, whether it's a grace period of 4 months or a grace period of 6 months or a grace period of 1 year, to say in September we're going to be closing the health and care worker visa route. But what we currently know is that according to the UK's Prime Minister, they do not have intentions of closing the health and care worker visa route because there is still a critical shortage of care workers within the UK. He made that announcement that we have no plans, even if they've got all these other plans to reduce migration and so forth. They indicated that they have no plans because remember, the Tories were actually pushing so that this health and care worker visa actually gets stopped. That's why there is this campaign that I'm talking about, which is trying to enable people within the UK to undertake care worker visa jobs so that they reduce hiring from overseas. And if they feel like they filled in all the vacancies with people who are here within the UK, it won't be a job which is under shortage. And if it's no longer under shortage, they will close the visa route. That's what it simply means. Okay. And then someone says, let me see, send me a link. They haven't mentioned someone is asking what are the requirements of this training. They have not mentioned the requirements of this training, but obviously if you are already a care assistant, which means you can actually train for this program, but they have not mentioned what the requirements are. But I would assume the requirements, since this is level 2 adult social care certificate, is no different from NVQ level 2, and the same qualifications that you have for the same requirements for NVQ level 2 could be the same requirements for a level 2 adult social care certificate. All right. And then someone says, thank you, my love, for everything. Gugu, thank you, Gugu. And need help with my CV. Gugu, just like I promised, I'm going to do a CV. I'm going to do a video on how to create your own CV. But if you want a CV constructed by me, it's easy. I'm going to leave the link in the description box. And I'm currently, like, I slashed the price because, you know, I know how difficult it is for people to source out funds from overseas. So I slashed the prices, quite affordable. It could be affordable to me, but the prices are very minimum. It could be affordable to me, but because I don't want people to spend a lot of money, I'll do a video. But should you wish your CV to be constructed, I'll leave the link after this video. It's going to be in the description box, and I'll construct that CV for you. But take note, guys, because the majority of people think that if you construct a CV, automatically, if I go and apply for a job, I'll get a job today. I'll not lie to you. Constructing a CV does not necessarily guarantee you that you apply for a job today and you automatically get a job today. You understand, guys? You draft your CV so that you also stand a better chance of being picked from the thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are applying for jobs. If your CV is not up to standard, be rest assured it is going to go straight into the recycle bin. You know, last week, was it TikTok? I was talking about the application tracking system, that most of our CVs, we do not tailor-make them to suit the application tracking system. And I told you that the application tracking system needs you to have at least 22 keywords from what is advertised in the job. And if your CV does not have the 22 keywords from the application tracking system, it automatically means it's not going to be picked by the ATS, and it automatically means it's going to go to the recycle bin. So if I'm drafting your CV and I'm looking at the job that you're applying for, I'm going to be looking at whether the CV that is drafted has got at least 22 keywords to beat the application tracking system, so that you also stand higher chances of being picked. Because most of us, looking at your CVs and the jobs that you're applying to, the majority of people only have 6 keywords out of the 22 that are needed. This is proven statistics, only 6 keywords. And from those 6 keywords, it's automatic that it goes straight away to the bin. Hi, Clara. Thank you for joining. Understood. I'm a nurse who want to go as a care assistant due to IELTS problem. Do I still need another certificate? All right. Nurses, physiotherapists, because I've had a lot of people who are not care assistants. We've got nurses, I've got physiotherapists, there are pharmacists, there are doctors who want to come to UK as a healthcare assistant. The thing is, a lot of organizations are no longer keen on taking people who are not healthcare assistants who come and work in the UK, unless of course you are a nurse. At least nurses stand a better chance, because if you are hired by an organization, for example, where they offer COS to nurses as well, they can take you and they can groom you to become a nurse, or at least you're working as a care assistant. So you can start off as a care assistant, it's fine, but you eventually become a nurse. I work in such an organization where quite a number of people were hired from overseas. They came in as healthcare assistants, but now they are nurses because the organization groomed them, they did their OSCE and everything, and became nurses. And you still have a lot of care assistants who are nurses as well. So depending on the organization, if you are a nurse, you really don't need to do another certificate, because the nursing, obviously the nursing, whether you've got a nursing degree or a nursing diploma, it's above the care assistant care assistant qualification. However, even if you are a nurse, because us here, even when one nurse is here in the UK, there is certain trainings that you need to have for you to be able to get a visa. So if you look at training like safeguarding, training like manual handling, training like first aid, CPR, if you look at the 15 core courses in healthcare assistant healthcare assistant module, those are the core courses that we also do. Because here I've started January, I am expected to go and do manual handling, I'm expected to do CPR, because we are constantly upgrading ourselves, you understand, guys? Because things are ever changing, so you have to be abreast with the current trends. So even if you're a nurse, for you to be abreast with the current trends, you also have to do those trainings which are needed by Home Office, and those trainings which are needed for you to work in a care home. Because even if I have qualifications, I've got so many qualifications, guys, even if I've got so many qualifications, degrees, whatever, I still do those courses on a yearly basis, and I do them twice. So with your qualification, you still need to do the trainings in addition to your qualifications. Right. Tamsanga Dube, can you talk a little about the delays in Home Office issuing out COS? We are hearing rumors that the Home Office is delaying the COS process. Tamsanga, it is actually not a rumor, it is a fact. The Home Office is delaying the certificate of sponsorship for, I cannot say two reasons, because there are many reasons. Reason number one is because of the abuse of the health and care worker visa. The health and care worker visa was abused a lot. A lot of people, a lot of organizations, as we all know here in UK, there are thousands of people who came to work as care assistants here in UK. And to date, they are not working because there are no hours. So Home Office will not issue you a certificate of sponsorship until they know that your organization really needs you to have a certificate of sponsorship. You are really needed in the organization, and you're going to get your hours when you go and work. So because of that, some organizations, I don't want to give examples, some organizations, people, they applied for a COS. So when you apply for a COS, the Home Office will investigate the organization. So investigation takes time. It doesn't okay overnight. They investigate the organization. Are they doing things by the book? Are they not making people pay for a COS? So at times you discover that you'll be waiting for your COS, and that company which is licensed to sponsor, because the Home Office has found some loopholes in that company, they actually revoke the certificate of sponsorship. And while they are waiting for a COS, that COS has been revoked. You understand? So for that reason, that is the number one reason that the COS is taking too long. Secondly, for organizations to issue the COS, they need to comply with the RQIA or CQC, as it is known in Britain, Quality Control Commission. So Home Office also has to check that you are complying with CQC. And if you are complying with CQC, what is your rating and all that before they issue a certificate of sponsorship. Ordinarily, the maximum time for a COS used to be at least just 4 weeks. That's the maximum. But now, there was an individual who had waited for 8 months to be issued a certificate of sponsorship. 8 good months. So I'd even said to her that I don't think there's hope, but she's now in UK. She got a COS after 8 months. She applied and came. So that's the reason. The corruption, because we're so corrupt, because we are buying the COS and we are coming to UK with no hours. Home Office has to be thorough and make sure that you are coming to UK with hours. So even if you have paid your £7,000 for a COS, it's not going to automatically come like this. Home Office is going to investigate the care home that you're going to work in or whatever company and see whether there's a need for the COS to be issued to you. If there's no need, they can come back to you and say, unfortunately. And some organizations, if there's no need, they'll just keep quiet and tell you that, no, we are still waiting, we are still waiting. And before you know it, it's another year. Because I know people who've been waiting since February. This is almost February. Since February last year, there are people who've been waiting. And I've been telling them that you continue to search for a job. If they say you're waiting for a COS, continue searching for a job. You only have a job when you now have a COS in hand. Just because they've said congratulations, they've sent you a congratulatory letter and said you have a job, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have a job. If you have a COS at hand, then that is a guarantee that you have a job. Passing an interview does not guarantee that you have a job. Having a COS at hand guarantees that you now have a job, because you can now apply for a visa, provided it's a genuine certificate of sponsorship, because people have applied for visas with a fake certificate of sponsorship and have been banned from coming to UK for 10 years. So that is what is delaying the COS. All right. Confirm care workers are still wanted in allowed to. But this question, confirm care workers are still wanted in allowed to work in UK. All right. I would take it you want to ask if care workers are still allowed in UK. The health and care worker visa is pretty much still open to people from overseas. The health and care worker visa, we still have the shortage occupation list 6141, 6145, 6146, and there are vacancies. I keep on saying we'll come and share vacancies with you. There are vacancies. There are people who are being hired from overseas. There are people who've been called for interviews. I shared a company a few days ago here where I said it's hiring from overseas, and one individual actually contacted me to say she's been invited for an interview. It simply shows that companies here in UK are still hiring from overseas. So yes, carers are still needed here in UK. The health and care worker visa pathway is still open for people who are overseas. You just need to put your documents in order and apply. All right. Hi, Popo. Waiting for the CV link. Good job. Okay, Mimi, I'm going to leave the CV link after I'm done with the video. I'll leave the link in the description box. Okay. Tamsang, all right. Tamsang, apparently the Home Office has cancelled licenses for a number of care homes, especially those owned by Zimbabweans. What is that all about? It's all about corruption. A lot of care homes. And guys, I've had a lot of people in my inbox crying that I was waiting for my COS, but the organization has cancelled the COS. It's because we are greedy, guys. There was a point in time I really felt bad for saying this, but I had to say, guys, try by all means to avoid these new companies, because all they think of is making money through you. Take 12 individuals. They're individuals. I know, guys, that you know, and I know that there's someone who's watching here who actually came to UK and has been seated for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months without working because there are no hours, but they paid £7,000 to relocate to UK. So what these organizations have been doing, because of greed and because of wanting to make money, because of corruption, I'm sorry to say, but we all know that most of our African countries are corrupt, and that corruption is actually going to the people who come from those countries, and they come here to UK, they try to be corrupt. But then the UK does not, there's nothing like bribing the law here in UK. You know that overseas you can bribe and you can get away with murder. But here in UK, there's nothing like bribing and getting away with everything. You understand, guys? So that's why most of these companies, because they've been taking 20 people, 30 people, and those 30 people pay £7,000. What is £7,000 times 30? Which means people have been making a killing. But when you come here to UK, you just sit, no hours. Some paying as high as £12,000. I saw an article on Facebook recently, someone saying, I'm offering a COS £13,000. £13,000. So you can imagine if, because people, even if I come here and say, guys, do not pay for your COS, people will still go ahead and search for money and sell their houses and sell their chickens and sell their goats and sell their wives and buy the COS and come to UK. You see, so that is why these companies are being shut down. That's why they're taking away the COS. Corruption, the love of money is the root of all evil. All right, let's move on and see. Lois, hi Popo, I want to relocate to Northern Ireland, but I don't know if you can tell me a bit about job availability for a spouse who is not in the healthcare sector. All right, so if you look at Northern Ireland, it is a brilliant place to live in. If your spouse is not in the healthcare sector, it's very difficult to find a job in Northern Ireland. That is the downside of Northern Ireland. That's why you discover that most of the people who relocate with their husbands to Northern Ireland, they end up doing care work. Most of the husbands, they end up doing care work here in Northern Ireland. And if you are not doing care work, we do have, because Northern Ireland hires, but most of the jobs, let's say maybe you are an engineer, let's say maybe you are a data scientist. Let's say if the job is in the shortage occupation list, they do have a likelihood of getting a job there, but it has to be a good job because UK really wants you to have qualifications which are there at the top for you to be able to work as any other thing which is not a healthcare assistant. Otherwise, most of the times people relocate from overseas as chief executive officers wherever they are working to come and work as care assistants here in UK because it's very difficult to get a job, especially in a place like Northern Ireland, because Northern Ireland is very small. Like the population is about 2 million, so which means if it being a small place, it means the jobs are very limited. Even locals, people are here in Northern Ireland, they actually relocate to England to go and look for jobs because jobs are that scarce in Northern Ireland. So that is the reality. Even if Northern Ireland is beautiful, everything is cheap and everything, if you come with your spouse, they will struggle to get a job. That's the honest truth. That's why you're seeing that when spouses struggle to get a job and they get maybe a care worker job and they're married to a nurse, a lot of marriages are falling apart here in UK. This is going to be a separate video, but a lot of marriages have fallen apart because nurses, they relocate to Northern Ireland and they think they are there when the husbands are now working as care workers, and they think they now have, if they are females, they think they now have balls, and because they think they now have balls, they look down upon their husbands and whatever, and they end up divorcing. I mean, the divorce rate is so high, especially if the other one is a nurse and the other one is a care assistant. So this one is going to be a separate video. This is not what I'm talking about today, but I'm going to do a separate video on that. But this is exactly what is happening. Lack of jobs is leading to marriage failure in Northern Ireland. You even wonder whether there was love in the first place. Okay, let's see. And then what are the new laws when a sponsor license has been suspended? Does it affect those already working in the UK? All right. Let's say an organization has a license revoked and you've been sponsored from overseas. It affects you as well. Let's say you are a care assistant, you're here in UK and you are under the company's sponsor. They sponsored you from overseas and Home Office has said, we are revoking this license. You are affected. There are people, there was someone yesterday, not even yesterday, was telling me that, Popo, I might need to go back to Zimbabwe because I'm not getting a job. If a license has been revoked, it means you've got 60 days to look for a job, 60 days to look for a switch. Guys, I'm sure we all know that there are thousands of people who are seated here looking for a switch. I have my own relatives who started looking for a switch in March last year. It's almost a year now. They still haven't switched because it's very difficult to switch. There are people who have not been working for months on end looking for a switch, but they cannot get a switch. You understand, guys? So if people who are here in the UK cannot get a switch, if they revoke your license, if you are not able to get a job within 60 days, you pack your bags and you go back to your country. There's no compromise there. So if a license is revoked, you will be affected and you have to look for a job in 60 days. If you don't find a job, you pack, you go back to your country. That is the reality on the ground. All right. And then someone says, all right. Switching process. Hi, Popo. NHS sponsor band 2 health assistant, 22,300 salary. Thanks. Yes, the NHS does offer NHS does offer band 2, band 3, and band 4 if you want to come and work as a care assistant in the NHS. So there is band 2, band 3, and band 4. So those are the ones which are on offer. All right. Thank you for enlightening us on the spouse in Northern Ireland. Yeah, that's the thing. It's very difficult to get a job in Northern Ireland. Can a man find mechanic job in UK? Yes, you can find a mechanic job here in UK, provided, because the problem is most of the time when I come from overseas, some of or most of the mechanics will not be having qualifications. Here in UK, you need to have a degree to work as a mechanic. So if you have a degree, you'll be able to get a mechanic job. But if you don't have a degree, it's going to be a struggle. They cannot just pick you with no degree and you come and work as a mechanic. So if you have a qualification in mechanics, yes, you can. All right, well done, Popo. I want to know if this new law coming up by spring will affect carers in Scotland or Ireland. What you have to know is that UK is made up of 4 countries: Northern Ireland, Wales, England, and Wales. So whatever law is passed by the UK government, it covers all the 4 countries. If it's passed by the UK government, yes, each country might have their own laws. For example, here I can say that maybe children start doing primary 1, they do grade 1 from age 4, whereas in England they start grade 1 from age 5. They differ in such things, but if it's a law passed by the government, it covers all the 4 countries. So whatever law is being implemented, if they say by spring, whether you're in Northern Ireland or you're in Wales or you're in England or you're in Scotland, it affects you equally because it is one country. No, it is it's all under UK, even if it's 4 different countries. It only differs in small things. All right. Sexy, I am from Bangladesh. Hi from Bangladesh, how are you? I hope you are doing okay. Thank you for putting a smile on my face. I haven't been called sexy in a long time. Nowadays, it is quite, especially as back home, yeah? Please, does the no bringing of dependent also apply to NHS? Guys, I did a video explaining the coming of, I said the care assistant jobs are subdivided into 3 categories. If you go on the NHS website, they state that if you are coming under the category of 6141, which is auxiliary nurses and nursing assistant. Nursing assistant is used interchangeable because in some countries, nursing assistant, like a nurse aide, let's say in Zimbabwe, can be a nursing assistant here in UK, depending on the qualifications that they have. A primary care nurse in Zimbabwe can come and work as a auxiliary nurse here, can come and work as a nursing assistant. So if the code 6141 is not affected by the dependents, but those are carers jobs. You understand, guys? Those are carers jobs. And then we've got the 2 codes for senior care assistants as well as care assistants, 6145, 6146. Those ones, according to the NHS, they will be affected. But the thing is, we do not know yet, because when the chief himself, because I shared a video where the chief of the NHS, the chief officers of the NHS, which means these are the bosses of the NHS, actually said that people who work in the NHS are not going to be affected by this. So until the law is in black and white in the government website, it's going to be a speculation. But for now, the NHS has stated that 6145, 6146 will not be able to bring that dependence afterwards, but 6141 nursing assistants will be able to bring. And NHS mostly hires nursing assistants, which means if you move and go and work as a nursing assistant in the NHS, you will not be affected. That's the thing. Our Marriott, how are you doing? Siletiwe says, I don't know if you did not see my question earlier because it was skipped. I was asking if you have a recommended institution to do level 2 social care. Okay, for level 2 social care, I'm going to leave the link in the description box where you can actually do level 2 certificate online. All right, and then Lois, what advice can you give to someone who doesn't know what to choose between starting work in a care home or go straight to the hospital as a new grad? Straight to the hospital. Now, I don't know whether you... Okay, Lois, can you tell me whether you're referring to starting work in a care home as a nursing assistant or as a nurse? Because... obviously, because I work in a care home, I'll sound as if I'm biased when it comes to working in a care home. But there are advantages and disadvantages of working in a care home, whether you're a nurse or you're a care assistant. There are advantages and disadvantages of working in a hospital, whether you're a nurse or you are a care assistant. When it comes to working in a care home pays better than the NHS. Let me not say the NHS. Care homes pay better than the hospitals. You can discover that the nurses in a care home can be earning £22 an hour, £23 an hour, whereas those who work in the NHS will be at £15.50 an hour or £16. And a difference of £5 to £8 every hour is a substantial amount of money, because you say £8 times 10 hours or times 11 hours, that is the difference that they get. Even if it's £80 per given day, if it's £80 times 5 shifts, it's a substantial amount of money which can actually buy you groceries for the whole month. If you are working as a nurse in a hospital, you gain more skills. I'm not saying if you're working in a care home there are no skills, but if you look at working in a care home, all these machines and whatever, there's nothing like all those machines that you see in a hospital. And there's nothing dynamic about working in a care home. Like if you are administering drugs, whether it's memantine or whatever, it's the same routine. I work in a care home because I love money and the money is good. But this is what I do on a daily basis. I go to work, I give medication, I assist people to bed, I write my notes. In the morning, I assist people to bed, or like do toileting, do the rounds and everything. And that's my job done. That is all that I do. And then in between here, like there are things like me, I'm a peripatetic nurse. So most of the time I'm not allocated care files. Other nurses are allocated care files where they do care files and so forth. But most of the time, because I'm a peripatetic nurse, I'm not allocated care files. Those things that I've already told you, 3 things: give medication, write notes, assist to bed, assist with activities of daily. That's it. That's my job. Which means I do not learn new things on a daily basis. You understand, guys? I don't learn new things on a daily basis. It's simple doing the same thing over and over again, but the pay is higher. Am I really bothered that, oh, I'm not gaining new skills? Me, when I left my country, I'd already actualized. So I came here to work. I didn't come here to get to the top of the ladder there. I've been asked to become a deputy manager. I'm not interested in that. I'm only interested in ching, because where I was a tutor, which was a seniorist position, one of the seniorist positions in a hospital. I had actually gone up the ladder all the way to being a tutor. So here I did not come for positions or whatever. I just came so that I make ching and take care of my kids and better prospects for my kids. So that is the difference. Care assistant, you get more money, but there's also nothing challenging by being a care assistant in a care home there, because if you are working as a care assistant in a care home, it's the same routine every day. You come to work, you give tea, whatever, lunches and whatever. You watch your patients, assist with activities of daily living, write your notes, That's it. But if you're a care assistant and you're working in a hospital, there are care assistants, depending on whether you're band 2 or band 3 or band 4. They are actually the ones who withdraw bloods, venipuncture. They take bloods from residents. They, they do catheter care. They do dressing of wounds. They do, which means you learn a lot and you gain a lot of skills when you're working in the hospital. But very little money. Understand? Very little money. The money is very little. Then another advantage of working in the NHS as opposed to care homes is that when you work in the NHS, should you decide to go off sick for 1 month, you don't decide to go off sick. Let's say, should you be sick for 1 month, you can go and sit at home for 1 month, but still get your full pay. Let's say you get paid maybe £350 per week. If you are off sick for that whole month, you get paid 350 every week for 4 weeks. But if you work in a care home and you fall sick, for every week that you are sick, you are paid between 80 to 90 pounds, which is the statutory sick pay. So getting sick in a care home is not acceptable by my standards, because if you get sick in a care home, you will not be able to feed your children, because you'll be earning pennies. Imagine if I off sick for the whole month, will you be able to pay your rent? If you're getting 8, 16, 24, 320 pounds the whole month, whereas another carer who's sick in the NHS, they gets 1,500 at the end of the month, even if they're sick. And then NHS, there are so many discounts, like hundreds of discounts with all the shops. Whether you want a mortgage, there's a discount. Whether you want a car, there's a discount. Whether you want to go to the gym, you want coffee, you want clothes, there are so many discounts for people who are working in the NHS. And there is also pension in the NHS. And in care homes, you don't get any discount anyway. There's nothing like, oh, you're going to be helped with your mortgage like they do in the NHS. You're going to buy a car at a cheaper price. So there are so many advantages of working in the NHS as opposed to care homes. Understand, guys? So if you want money, you go and work in a care home. If you want security, you go and work in the NHS, because there is security in the NHS. You get it? And then hi, sis Popo, is the South Africans standing a chance of having the COS? All right, I'm going to tell you something which is very funny, guys. Do you know that a lot of people are coming from South Africa? There are actually even care organizations which actually indicate that they want people from South Africa. People who are coming from South Africa at times stand higher chances, or a lot of people have been hired from South Africa. There are certain care, because I've dealt with care organizations who actually will not tell you as an individual that I'm not taking people from Zimbabwe, I'm not taking people from Nigeria, but they would make it a point that they don't take people from those countries and opt to take people from South Africa, take people from the Philippines, and take people from India. Those are usually the three preferences. You see that there are a lot of care workers who are from India and a lot of care workers who are from the Philippines. Do you know why? It's because we are corrupt. I'm sorry to say. We are corrupt. Even when we come to work here, at times, you know that there are stories that we've come and shared here and said, this has happened, this has happened, this has happened. So when someone does something bad, instead of that person being punished for their wrongdoing, they also punish the country as well. We don't want people from Zimbabwe. We don't want people from Nigeria. We don't want people from, and they prefer people from those countries that I have mentioned. This is the reality on the ground. But to you, they'll not come and tell you in your face. But I've been told in my face that, Popo, I need some people, but please make sure that they are not from this place. Make sure they're not from. At least if they are from maybe the Philippines. And believe you me, this was someone who is also like Zimbabwean like me, who specifically said, I don't want people from Zimbabwe. I don't want people from this country. I don't want people from this country. I'd rather have people from this country, this country, this country. I was like, I am sorry, I'm not going to take part in this, because I'm not here to discriminate, because you're not supposed to judge people by their actions. Judge people by their qualifications. Don't blame everyone for other people's actions. You understand? So at the end of the day, when you go to recruiters, this is me saying, no, I'm not going to participate in this. If you want to discriminate, do it for yourself. I'm not going to go and look for someone in India and leave another fellow Nigerian there who wants a job, and another fellow Zimbabwean there who wants a job, and go, why should I be discriminating? You understand? So organizations, that would be me, but organizations, they do discriminate. If you are from those countries that I've mentioned at times, they'll say, no. Sometimes they'll just say, oh, it's because you are a red list country. Even if you applied directly to the company, that's what they do. You're from a red list country, we're not going to take you. When you are allowed to apply directly to the companies, because of what others have actually done. And guys, if you have not liked this video and you like the content that I've been sharing with you so far, do smash that like button. It's free. Smashing that like button is absolutely free. So please smash that like button. Okay, let me see some questions. Charity Rundu struggling to get a switch. If someone can, please help. Charity, it's not easy to get a switch, my darling. And you're not the only one. There are thousands and thousands of people struggling to get a switch. I've already mentioned the reason why people are struggling to get a switch. You understand? It's very sad. Most of us, I can say, we brought this upon ourselves, because even when we said, please do not pay, because there'll be a price to pay. I've heard people tell me that as long as I can lend my foot here in UK, even if I don't have hours, I don't mind. But imagine if you don't have hours for 5, 6, 7, 8 months, how will you be surviving? How will you be taking care of your family? How will you be taking care of your children? You know what? The health and care worker visa, people migrated, are now depressed. A lot of people are depressed. Some are homeless. Some are beggars. Because why are you going to be getting the money if you're not working? They are beggars. You don't have to be in a street to be a beggar, but you be concerned, please borrow me £20, please borrow me £5, please borrow me. You are a beggar. They are literally begging for money because you are not able to take care of yourself, because you paid £10,000 hoping you come in, and not only that, you paid £10,000 and you are owing people back in your country there, and you've not been working for 10 months, or you go and work one shift which can barely sustain you. You cannot even pay your rent. You are even squattering somewhere. That's the reality on the ground. Because people said, no, we're going to come to UK, we're going to switch. It's no longer that easy to switch. Corruption took place, I'm sorry to say. All right. Is it true that care assistants are asked to bath dead bodies when a client dies? Yes, definitely. Definitely. I am one of those persons, like I've already said, I work in a care home. And I would not let, if I am looking after someone who's in end of life care, I want them to go to heaven looking clean. I want them to go to heaven nicely combed. And so if an individual passes away, if I'm the nurse who's on duty there, and I'm working with the care assistant, most of the time, I go, switch the light on. Most of the time, I go to the care assistant and say, whosoever has passed away, can we come and we wash him and change him? I even speak, most of the time, the relatives are there. I ask the relatives, what clothes do you want the individual to go in? Because when it comes to maintaining dignity, we don't only maintain dignity when the individual is alive. We maintain dignity even when the individual is dead. So even if the individual passes away, we need to clean them. We need to, if it's their preference. If it's someone who liked putting on lipstick, like I have too much lipstick right now, you make sure that you wash them, put their lipstick, put their eyeshadow, put their earrings, put whatever they liked. If they are from whatever religion, whether they have their beads, whatever, you ask the individuals, how do you even want the hands to be laid? Okay, across the chest, that's it. Bath and change and make them look perfect and presentable. You want them to go to heaven looking clean. So yes, you bath. There's nothing wrong with a dead body. Actually, you should fear the people who are alive than the dead. So yes, you bath, you wash them, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've washed thousands, literally. I've washed thousands of bodies. So Thank you for the information. Please, what is the new rule? I came in late, especially the new requirements for carers. The carers do not have new requirements, but the good news is that they now want to turn care work into a career which is going to be lucrative, meaning that the people who are here in the UK who've been shunning this career because they now want to make it a lucrative career, they're going to be able to what? They're going to be able to enroll for whatever courses and enroll, train, and be qualified care assistants and work as care assistants here because it's now going to be a lucrative career. A lot of people shun it because it's not lucrative. So that's what they are trying to do. There are no new requirements, none whatsoever. The same requirements, the TB tests, the care certificates, the what you call this, the police clearance, the same requirements are still the same, but there are changes which have been implemented with effect from the 10th of January 2024. It was announced on 10th January and it's going to take effect from June up to next year 2025. Yeah, hey, depressed, shame. Yeah, people are really depressed. I don't want to lie. I've had people that I don't know calling me on Telegram, crying, literally crying. Popo, help me, but it's very limited what I can do because at times they say, help me, help me. I try to talk to recruiters. I talk to, like the ones that I work with, MMA Healthcare Recruitment, but they cannot take everyone. You get it, guys? They cannot take everyone. I've heard people literally crying. And it breaks my heart because people would have been told long back that, please, guys, follow the proper channels. But people don't listen. All right. I'm tired, my dear, of applying. I can't get this US. I very much need. Guys, Ruth Matipa, thousands of people are tired, my darling. You know why? Because thousands of people want to come to UK. Remember, this is the easiest pathway to overseas. The health and care worker visa is the easiest pathway to overseas. You understand? UK made it easy. You can come to UK without even a diploma, a degree, or a whatever qualification. So, because it is an easy pathway, 20,000 people in Nigeria did the course, 20,000 people in Zimbabwe, 20,000 people in South Africa, 20,000 people in India. My channel is viewed in 60-something countries. And all those people in 60-something countries know that it is easy to come to UK through the health and care worker visa. But each organization is not going to take. Imagine if it's 10,000 times 60 countries that watch my videos, 10,000 people times 60,000. I don't know, mates. How many people are those? Hundreds and thousands of people, all wanting to come through the health and care worker visa. So like I always come and say to you guys, KISS goes by favor. KISS goes by favor. Me, I will not lie to you and tell you that 150 or 200,000 of you are going to get jobs here in UK. Why would I lie? Because that would be a green lie. KISS goes by favor. Those who manage to be a cut above the rest, those who manage to be selected by the application tracking system, those who manage to strike the gold by having excellent CVs, excellent cover letters, are the ones who are going to be hired. It's not 200,000 people who are going to be hired. It's impossible because the jobs are not even 200,000. So it's impossible. So it is going to be difficult because the competition is very, very stiff. That's the only reason that it's so difficult. You understand, guys? So it's not easy because a lot of all these countries, everyone from all these countries, they are trying to come to UK. So you have to make sure that you strike the gold. Excellent CV, excellent cover letter, excellent presentation, and then you stand better chances. But if you are, like I told you that I've been drafting CVs, most of the CVs, see, I'm a tutor. Me being a tutor, used to hire student nurses. I used to look at their CVs and say, okay, I can hire this one, or this one cannot be hired. Even if I'm not the one who's hiring, but I'm the one who's looking at the CV, and I'm the one who is going to be interviewing the individual, and I'm the one who's going to say you have passed the interview or not. And because I have that experience, I've got 10 years experience of working in the School of Nursing and 10 years experience of looking at CVs. Most of the CVs that I've seen are CVs that I will not even take a second chance to look at them. I'll just automatically take them and put them aside because they are not up to scratch. You just get tired from reading the introduction because it's not up to scratch. So it's not everyone who's going to be hired. As long as your things are not up to scratch, you will not be hired. So fix your CVs, fix your cover letters. Make sure that you are a cut above the rest for you to be able to be hired from overseas. Not everyone's going to be hired. You understand, guys? And at times, like I always tell you, you might want UK. It's just that, you see, I'm still in uniform. I knocked off in the morning. I'm a night nurse. I am tied up these days. But it's not only UK which needs care workers. Understand, guys? I've been meaning to do videos, but because of time, I'll try my level best. Maybe if I come live like this, it makes it easier because I don't have to edit and all that. Canada needs care workers at the moment. New Zealand needs care workers. Companies in South Africa have signed the labor agreement and they need care workers. Luxembourg, they need nurses, they need people in the healthcare field, they also need care workers. Finland needs care workers. It's not only UK which needs care workers because UK is not going to absorb all of you guys. That's the truth. 200,000. It's not going to absorb all of you guys. Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, my neighbor there, also needs care workers. So do not only focus on UK. Focus on UK, but look at other countries because you are not all. That's the honest truth. All right. So, guys, I've now talked for long. I've been talking. I've talked for long, but this is the information that I wanted to share with you. Let me check if there is let me check the last thing. So the last thing that I want to share with you, they are saying creating career paths and qualifications in the care systems in the long term to support the domestic workforce so we can strike the right balance between ethical international recruitment and filling vacancies with staff based in the UK, following the Prime Minister and Home Secretary's recent announced plan to curb abuse of the visa system. This is an important point, guys. They are clearly stating that because of what the Prime Minister and Home Secretary recently announced, that they want to curb the abuse of the visa system. That's why they're coming up with this program. And they'll make sure that international recruitment is ethical and at the same time curb abuse of the care visa, and at the same time also fill vacancies from people who are here within the UK. And what do they mean by international recruitment being ethical? See, people who come from countries like the red list countries, I'm talking of countries like Zimbabwe, I'm talking of Kenya, I'm talking of Nigeria, I'm talking of Ghana, you know, the red list countries. It is viewed unethical for UK to take people from those countries and hire them here. So what they might end up doing, because they want to look at ethical issues, they can automatically say, guys, for ethical reasons, let us not take people from red list countries, because there are certain NHS hospitals we have been told not to recruit from Zimbabwe. We have been told not to recruit from Nigeria. We have been told. I remember when I once first came and did a video that NHS is not going, I was attacked left, right, and center. That why are you saying NHS is not allowed? Until people from the NHS itself came and said it's unethical. So if they say it's unethical, they can decide at any point in time and say, let us not recruit from red list countries because it's unethical. Let us only focus on countries which are not in the red list, the likes of South Africa, the likes of Botswana, the likes of Namibia, just to mention a few. You understand? The likes of Philippines, India, there. You understand, guys? So that's why they are mentioning that this new program that they've implemented, they want to curb abuse, and they also want to find a right balance between ethical international recruitment and filling vacancies with staff based in the UK. So you can tell that from that statement, it's going to be a dire situation, because if you are in a country where they say it's unethical to recruit from, they can just turn away and say, let us just not recruit from these countries. They've done that. There are certain hospitals where they don't hire nurses from red list countries, where they don't hire care assistants from red list countries. So this is what we are going towards. But since this program is only going to say, we're also supporting local authorities to expand the workforce with almost 2 billion. 2 billion is a lot of money, guys. Which means if it's 2 billion being put forward, it means from that 2 billion, they can get a lot of people. And it not only affects care assistant, guys. Nurses are affected as well. Listen to this. We are also supporting local authorities to expand the workforce with almost 2 billion over 2 years as part of the Market Sustainability and Improvement Fund. And in addition, councils will benefit from a new investment to help recruitment of social work and nurse apprenticeship into adult social care. This will allow local authorities and care providers to apply for a contribution towards the cost of training and supervising new social work and nurse apprentices, meaning they want to train nurses from within the UK. They are channeling funds, 2 billion. 2 billion is a lot of money, so that they are able, because the reason they don't have many nurses here in the UK is because you have to go to university and you have to pay for your university fees. But now they want to channel 2 billion towards training of the nurses here within the UK. So which means it's also going to limit the recruitment of nurses from overseas, especially where they believe it's unethical to recruit, the red list countries. So this is the situation on the ground. You have between now and next year to take action. So if you don't take action now, you know how the UK government is. They change things at any time. This has been, if you go, I'll leave the link because it's already there on the government website. I'll leave the link in the description box so that you go and read for yourselves. But there's a likelihood, with the way things are going, there's a likelihood that more and more changes will be coming in, guys. You understand? So this is what I wanted to share with you. It's both good and bad news. Bad news for people who are overseas, because it's going to reduce the number of people they are going to take from overseas. It's also going to affect the red list countries as well, because it's not ethical to recruit from them. So this is what I wanted to share with you. Yes, questions are always welcome. If you have any question that you want to ask, because I'm about to round this live off, do ask the question and I'll answer your questions, and then we'll move on to the next business. And let me know in the comment section whether you are okay with me doing lives, or you prefer to have me do a video and you watch the video later, or lives are okay. Just let me know in the comment section. But I'm enjoying lives because I get to answer your questions as they come in, unlike typing one by one. So as your questions come in, I'm able to answer your questions, meaning this is much easier for me. But it's not about me, it's about you guys. What is easier? What do you prefer? What is easier for you? Sis Purple, how do I get in touch with you? I need assistance in private. Please email me. Pauline, anyway, email me. If you look at my bio, my email is there. Just email me, Pauline, or I can say it's either email me on pauline.popo.moyo@gmail.com or paulinemoyo717@gmail.com. You can email me and we can talk. All right, I'm okay with live. Yeah, that's true. That's what I also appreciate with live, that people are able to ask their questions and you answer the questions as we are going on. So I'll try to do more and more of lives. I'll make sure that I'll announce in good enough time, and then we can come and do the lives, and I'll try and make it shorter Because the problem with me is that I talk a lot. 68 minutes of talking and too much. See, life is the best. Yeah. All right, guys, if there are no more questions, thank you so much for taking your precious time out of your busy schedule to come and join me on this live. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate each and every one of you, because for me it is a blessing. Imagine to be able to do a live on YouTube and people join you. What a wonderful blessing it is. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to having more lives with you so that we can chat and talk about whatever questions that you have. So thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. Now I'm reading questions. So I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye. Thanks, Kukutube. All right, now let me go off.